Welcome, and thank you for being here on this beautiful, warm Saturday. You are going to have fun despite all the little stressors we're going through today. And it's going to be a wonderful experience to teach you what the world has come to know as one of the best leadership development programs in the world. This is internationally known, has been on the top list of leadership development programs since it was first initiated in 1989. So I know you're going to get a lot out of today. So if you would get your books out, and we're going to get started. We've already covered page 4, which is the maturity continuum. And we're going to begin on page 5. Each one of these habits begins with a model, a way to think about what you are learning. And so what this short section is going to do is give you the foundation for how these habits developed, to understand the principles that they're built on, and to help you understand the opening model that's going to precede every habit that we cover. So, this is called the see-do-get model. And basically what it tells you is that what you do influences the results that you get. That makes sense? Okay? But the actions that you take in that do are preceded by how you see things. If we see something in a particular way, then that's going to help you see how you should do it differently. In other words, if you can't see it differently, you're not going to do it differently, and therefore you're not going to get different results. And yes, the news is the air conditioner is being able to be turned on, so God willing, we will be cool in a little bit. The see, do, get connects very strongly to the goals that you wrote. Remember the goal exercise early on? And we said, oh, we have to write this as a gap statement. I had to get you to see it. And then you had to decide what you were going to do differently. And how were you going to check on that? And hopefully then that was going to get you different results. It all connects. So if you're filling in the blanks on that page, on 5, the results we get in life depend on what we see. And what we get in life depends on how we see the world around us. It's all in the visual. So let's move to page 6. Now here's an exercise in how you see. Has that diagram ever been in a classroom or any experience workshop that you've had before? And you can see both sides of this diagram. You see the woman's face, yes? And you see the musician? Okay. But sometimes, have you ever been, maybe not this diagram, but one in a same kind of vein where you could only see one side and the other person had to point out all the pieces and parts? Yeah. Well, we're going to point out the pieces and parts of each of these habits to help you see the difference. Page 7. Examine your paradigms. What in the heck is a paradigm? Anybody?
Paradigm is a apparent contradiction that really isn't.
It can be an apparent contradiction. Yes? Yes.
According to the book here, it says that is the way we see, understand, and interpret the world are mental matter.
Yeah. And sometimes what we see is a contradiction, but it's how we see it. It's like the glasses that we wear, but those glasses are invisible, so we think we all see things the same. I need some volunteers, 3.
Extra credit?
Pardon? You're terrific. Okay, 1. Anybody else? I promise I don't bite.
Sure.
Robert? Okay. And you'll do it? Excellent. Okay. I'm just going to ask you some questions. So we'll start with our first volunteer. Where were you born?
South Carolina.
North?
South.
South. South Carolina. What city?
Near Myrtle Beach.
Near Myrtle Beach. Okay. Little community, but near Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. All right. Brothers or sisters?
2 sisters.
Older, younger?
1 older, 1 younger.
Ah, middle child. Okay. All right. When you were in school, K through 12, what was your favorite subject?
Lunch, but math.
I don't think you got any credit for lunch, not even extra credit, but all right, math. And when you are not having to do homework and study and work and some of those kinds of things, what is your favorite activity that you like to do?
I read a lot.
You read a lot. Okay, excellent. Okay, so we have a reader. And if I were to take you to a fabulous upper scale ice cream store, what is the one topping you absolutely have to have on your ice cream?
Caramel syrup.
Caramel syrup. Okay. See, I told you I didn't bite. Robert, you're next. Okay. Tell me, what state were you born in?
Tennessee. Amy.
City?
Saudi Daisy.
Saudi Daisy's Tennessee. All right. Brothers and sisters?
3 sisters, 1 brother.
3. Where are you in the?
I'm the oldest.
You're the oldest. Okay. And when you're not, favorite subject K through 12?
History.
History. And when you're not doing homework and all those other kinds of things, what do you like to do in your spare time?
Play with my cats.
Play with your cats. Good. Ice cream. What is your absolute all-time have-to-have topping?
Fruit.
Fruit. Any particular kind?
Go strawberries.
Strawberries. All right. Excellent. So we have an oldest child, a middle child, South Carolina, Tennessee, a reader, play with pets. You're next. Where were you born?
Cookeville, Tennessee.
Cookeville, Tennessee. All right. Brothers and sisters?
I've got 6 younger. Let me see. 3 brothers and 3 sisters.
Okay. And you're?
Oldest.
Oldest. Another oldest child. So what was your favorite subject K through 12?
Math and library.
Math and library. So we have a couple of math. And then ice cream. Topping.
That's a hard one. I love a lot of things on my ice cream. Chocolate sprinkles.
Chocolate sprinkles. Okay. Now, as much as that seems fun and silly and all those kinds of things, our paradigms are formed by our experiences in life. All the various things that come to play that make you the person that you are. And so your lenses are not the same as your lenses are not the same as your lenses. But don't we all think we see the same way? Haven't you ever heard someone say, or maybe said it yourself, why would they do that? No one would ever do it that way. Or, right? Haven't you ever had that thought or even said that out loud or heard someone say that out loud? Of course you have. Because we all see it differently. Now, here's another very important fact for you to understand. As future teachers, you will have one of the most influential powers, if you will, on your students' lives that help form their paradigms. Did you ever think about that? The time you spend with your students forms their paradigms in a very big way. Can't you think to the favorite and wonderful teachers that you've had all this time? And you went, oh yeah, oh, just love that person. Oh, they meant the world to me. Oh, they were a life changer for me. Once you have those people, they changed your life. They formed your paradigms. That's the career you are about to embark upon. Think about your paradigms. I want you to think about question 1, 2, and 3 on page 7. Except I'm going to reformat the first question. What event or circumstances in your K through 12 education, to include a teacher, changed your paradigm? What was it? What did you learn? I'll get you a chair in just a minute. And how did that shift affect your behavior? So if you would start working on those questions, get something to write with. Let me get a chair. Okay, most of you done with those questions? Good. This is also, this type of question, this type of response is what we call reflective learning. And as a teacher in this program, in this college, you do a lot of reflective writing and learning. It is how a teacher learns to do improvement from feedback and such. So this is a process you will use a lot. Page 8 in your book, principles. The 7 habits are based on rock-solid principles. Principles, you'll see the box in the middle. Principles are not situational. They are always there. What principle is this?
Gravity.
Gravity. Does gravity happen in Soddy Daisy, Tennessee?
It does.
Does it happen in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina? Yes, I think it does. Does it happen in Cookeville, Tennessee? Yes, it does. Okay. Does it happen in France, Brazil, South Africa, Australia?
Everywhere but California.
Gravity, yeah, it might be just a tad different over there. But seriously, gravity happens everywhere. It's not situational. And these principles are the same. They're not temporary either. It's not like we just have gravity today. We had it yesterday, we'll have it tomorrow. It's not subjective. It doesn't matter if you like gravity. I drop things all the time. I get pretty irritated with gravity sometimes. But it doesn't matter whether I like it or not, it exists. And it's not dependent on whether you can derive the theory of gravity. Anybody can do that? But gravity still exists, doesn't it? So whether you can derive the psychology theories that leadership is based on, they still exist. Leadership is applied psychology. The last one, I believe it's the last one, yes, is on page 10. And you'll see the picture of a nice looking goose and an egg, which happens to be gold. Does anybody, we'll call on my early childhood majors here, remember the fairy tale about the goose and the golden egg? Now this is not Jack and the Beanstalk. The goose and the golden egg. Who can tell me that story? Anybody? Nobody. Oh my goodness. Well, let me fill this hole in your cultural experience. Okay, there was a farmer and he raised geese. And they sold the eggs from their geese and ate from them as well. And one day they went out to collect eggs, and holy camoly, there's this weird looking egg and it's not like the others, and it looked like gold, and they're like, it doesn't weigh like the others, and they took it to an evaluator of gold in their little town, and they went, yep, that's a golden egg. They're like, oh my gosh, we can pay off all our debt. This is wonderful. They're celebrating a golden egg. This is fabulous. And the next day it happened again. 2 gold eggs. Oh my gosh, do you think we'll be set for life? Oh my gosh, I could stop working. This would be wonderful. We could not have any worries. Retirement, it just, oh wow, fabulous. And then they got greedy. And the 3rd day there was another golden egg. And they went, I want them all, and I want them now. Well, as I'm sure you could guess, the poor goose. Because the only way the farmer thought that he could get those golden eggs was to have to go inside the goose and get them. But he did. Well, what happened to the goose? Not a pretty end. Did he find golden eggs? No. When you are at your best, don't you produce golden eggs, so to speak? Yes, you do. And sometimes you pull all-nighters and you just work yourself to death, and you don't exercise, and you don't sleep, and you don't do all the things that are good for you because you're working so hard for the golden eggs. And you can work so hard that sometimes the stress that you feel is overwhelming, and you're exhausted, and sometimes you even get sick. If you want to produce the golden eggs that I know you are capable of producing on a steady basis, you have to take care of the goose. Oh. Oh. And it extends beyond yourself as a leader. If the geese you are supervising and that are on your team are working hard to produce golden eggs, you cannot expect them to work 24/7 on your behalf or the organization's behalf. They have to be able to be healthy to produce those golden eggs. And as a leader, it is your job to see that they have balance and that you have balance. And these principles support that balance. How many of you have trouble saying that one teeny tiny little 2-letter word? Starts with the letter N. Anybody know what word I'm talking about? Say it out loud.
No.
No. I said it. Oh my gosh. Wouldn't you want to have the courage to say no when you need to? and feel confident you did the right thing, and not beat yourself up with guilt. We're going to talk about that today. What a gift that could be. Habit 2 and 3 together gives you that gift. Helps preserve the goose. Those are the principles and the foundation on which the 7 habits is built. Make sense? Excited to start? Me too. All right. Let's go in your books. Get to the right page. There we go. Page 19. The first step in the maturity continuum is habit 1. Be proactive. As I promised, it starts with the see-do-get model. The ineffective paradigm. I am a product of my circumstances. Well, yes, but only to a point. That determines where we start. That does not determine where we end. But the effective paradigm is, I am a product of my choices. I am free to choose, and I am responsible for my choices. And if I see that, here we go, if that's what I see, then the actions that I take are I respond based on my principles, I use proactive language, I expand my circle of influence, and I can become a transition person. And what I get in terms of my results is hugely increased influence, and that I become the creative force of my life. Nobody else is painting my picture.
Habit 1's more like just don't be reactive. You know, like there are tons of things that make everybody angry. Like for me, professional inconsistency, or like road construction. I hate road construction. I even got put in jail once over road construction. I had been driving for 5.5 hours one day, and I come up to my apartment, and professional inconsistency. They had both ends of the road blocked off, and there was no other way to get to my apartment but to go through the construction zone. And they normally had a flagger on both ends. But on this day, they didn't. They had one flagger out. One. So I did something like that. And then I stopped, and I looked at about the 100 feet of road they had blocked off, and I watched 2 cars pull out of my driveway and leave. I looked to the far end, saw the flagger on the other end, look at me and give me the slow sign. So I entered. I got about 50 feet in before I met the first construction worker. And unlike when I was 17, I didn't get out and fight with them because I was older. So I was coming to a stop, and they're jumping around. They jumped the ditch they're digging, they're putting in a water line. And they turn around and run toward the machine, which is down, because nobody's in it. Because it's 3:30 in the afternoon, I'm supposed to meet somebody at 4. So I keep going forward, slowly. Looking around, not sure where I'm supposed to be going, what I'm supposed to be doing, because no one's told me anything at this point. I'm looking out my window, and then their construction supervisor comes up yelling and screaming at me, "Are you crazy? Stop and turn around, stop and turn around." So instead of arguing with this person, or stopping, and pausing, and looking and talking to them, I just put my finger on my window and said, "I live right there, I'm just going right there." And they go, that's it, I'm calling the police. What would you have done? Oh, no, seriously, what would you have done?
Just tell the police the story. It's kind of the only thing you can do, really.
What would you have done?
I would turn around and went back before they told me to turn around.
Yeah, they never did tell me to turn around, but, so I go, fine, call the police. Thinking that they wouldn't do it because, what's the point of that? So I pull in, and I'm mad, and I don't want them coming down and getting my tag number. And so I react, and I take off my tag and throw it in my trunk. True story. I go up and freshen up, and I go out and I've waited about 15, 20 minutes and there are no police. So it's 3:50. It takes me about 5 to 10 minutes to get where I need to be at 4. So I get my motorcycle when I leave. If I had paused at any time during those 15 or 20 minutes, I would have done either one of two things. I either one would have gone out there and covered up my VIN number, because you can get the information just as easy as a VIN number as you can a tag number, and I knew that, but I wasn't thinking. Or two, I would have put my tag back on before I left. 2 weeks later, a full, 12 days later, I got arrested for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. The deadly weapon being the car, and reckless endangerment. A year and a half later, I finally get a chance to have my day in court where it's dismissed. Well, the aggravated assault was dismissed, and I was acquitted of the other one. True story. But, point is that I chose to be reactive instead of being proactive. I never paused. I was like a dog. I worked at PetSmart, by the way. When dogs come in, they just want the treat. They just go for it, 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 go for it. And then you stick your hand up and say sit, and you make them stop, make them pause. Fun stuff. Actually, it really is. The things we all have things that make us mad, and you can tell when you're getting mad because you feel your blood pressure rise, you clench your fist, you pace around, you fidget, whatever. Like, what's something that makes you? Stupid people. Yeah, right. Does everybody have a stupid moment? Yeah. So, I mean, how do you feel when you're getting mad? You begin to see double, you see red. You start reaching for that concealed gun you have in your car.
Yes.
No. How about you? What do you do when you get mad?
I don't know. I just don't talk if I get mad. That's how I react to things. So
Yeah.
I just keep it in.
How about you?
Me.
Yeah.
Violence.
Violence?
Yeah.
You know, if violence doesn't solve your problem, you're not using enough of it. How about you?
No, I start shaking, I get really pissed.
Me too. So you know that's how you react. You know there are different hot buttons. Some of us know exactly what hot buttons are. Some of us don't. But the point is that when you run into a hot button situation, you need to have a plan of how you're going to react to it. How are you going to control your reaction? Are you going to wait and keep it balled up till you explode? Or do you normally count to 10 and say, hey, let's think? Or do you remove yourself from the situation?
Me?
Yeah.
I just remove myself.
Does that work for you?
Sometimes it does, but then other times it just still bothers me. So.
As long as you don't lose sleep over it, right?
Yeah.
How about you? Do you actually commit violence upon other people?
No, of course not.
No. So what do you do instead?
Instead of committing violence,
Yeah.
I do what men do. I bottle it up inside until at the age of 48 I have a heart attack.
That might work. As long as it keeps you out of jail anyway.
I mean, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I will say my jail experience in America has been my favorite one yet. Of course, I've only been arrested in 2 countries, but I went to jail in 3. So Actually, I guess remember I
Are
didn't
you
get
bragging
arrested.
about your trail record?
I might. How about you? What do you do when you start to feel yourself shaking?
Just don't talk to anybody,
Does that work for you?
I guess. I ain't found anywhere else to do it.
As long as we have plans. Otherwise, you wind up like this Coke here.
No.
And you start to bottle up. But then you have a plan to put the lid back on. So it doesn't.
All right. So what would you call this mess on this Coke? Anybody have a word for that?
Fizz?
Pardon?
Nothing.
No, go ahead. What is the word for it?
I said fizz.
Fizz. Yeah, fizz is a good word. Anybody have another one? What did it start to do when he opened it?
Explode.
Explode. We can bottle it up. We can explode. We can go someplace else and explode. But hot buttons have to be managed. As a teacher, you cannot afford to explode. And it's going to continue to eat you up if you bottle it up. So how do we deal with this? Proactively. That's what the habit is, being proactive. When he asked you questions about how you feel when you start to get angry, when you need to take care of that, you have to realize how your body responds. You have to be able to cool yourself off pretty fast. You're in front of students. You could be with parents in a parent-teacher conference. So how do we handle this? If you're with your students, can you just walk out the door and get a breath of fresh air? That's normally not a bad plan, but not when you're responsible for minors. You can't do that. So you have to come up with a plan of how you're going to handle this stress. You cannot spew all over everybody and be like the Coke bottle. You're going to have to be like the water bottle. It didn't foam up, did it? The fizz is building inside of us. Logically, you don't know it yet. Physically, you can feel it. You feel it before you know it. So the faster you can push what we call your pause button, the faster you can take care of it. All leaders need a pause button. Hit it. Pause, 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 pause. Take a deep breath. Choose an alternative behavior. Sometimes you have to tell yourself something that might make you smile. I don't know what that could be, but you know what that could be. If you plan what your alternate behavior is, then you can have a place to go after you pause. Maybe you just think of your favorite place where you're calm, cool, and collected. Pause. Okay, I'm at the beach. The waves are pounding. Deep breath. I can do this. Now, you might still need to go dump that after work to a friend or a spouse or a family member, and that's okay. But you need to be able to get past it in your workday. Had some people, as we did introductions for 3 of you, say that you were an oldest child. Anybody have younger brothers and sisters? Okay. Did you give them the rule book about What are your hot buttons growing up? Did you tell them, give them a long itemized list of everything that makes you mad? Of course not. Did they know that list anyway?
Yeah.
Did they figure it out? Of course they did. Your students will have your list by the end of week 1. All of them. It's uncanny. And those of you who are the youngest, I know you're sitting there smugly going, we did it, right? Okay. Yeah, they're going to figure you out. They're going to know what's going to set you off, and they're going to try it. It's their job, sort of. And you have to be ready. Pause buttons, knowing your hot buttons, planning an alternative behavior, and using something we call proactive language. Take one of these and pass it around. I'm hoping I have enough. If you've got extras at your table, please pass them to me so we can get them around. I think I have an extra one here. Y'all need some more? Here's one. Any extras? You need one? We have an extra. There's 2. Let's send that down. Who still needs one? 1, 2. Wow, just enough. Okay. I want you to look at the bottom box, the short box. I want you to go there, and I want you to pick out the statements that to you are proactive and the ones that are reactive. And then I want you to have a short discussion at your table and see if you can come to an agreement on which ones are proactive and which ones are reactive.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about these. Let's take the first one. I'll try. How many said that was proactive? But not everybody. Some said it was reactive. Couple people, all right. I'll try is one of those words that you almost have to know the person. Really? If you trust them, then an I'll try could be very proactive. Gosh, I've never done this before. I'll give it a try. But if you don't know them, oh yeah, I'll try. What does that tell you? Say it out loud.
It's not getting done.
It's not getting done. Why?
They never try.
Because they don't try. Well, here's what the word I'll try has kind of become in our culture. It's been I don't want to disappoint you, but I really don't want to do it.
It's non-committal.
I'm not committing to it. I might not know how, and I'm too embarrassed to tell you. Or I know how, and I hate doing it, but I really don't want to tell you that because I don't want you to not like me anymore. So that word I'll try has certainly lost its dictionary meaning, has it not? Yes, it has. So that's a tough one. I'm not going to let your bad mood rub off on me. Proactive. That's making our own choices. Versus you ruined my day. Now we've all had those thoughts. But again, we make those choices. My significant other makes me so mad. Anybody ever thought that, said that? But we have choices. I can do better than that. Proactive? or reactive?
Proactive.
Proactive. I can't do it. Mostly reactive. This is my choice.
I feel it's proactive.
I think it's proactive. Good. There's nothing I can do about it. Or, you know, I've really looked at this and I can't change it. There's nothing I can do about it. Are those different or the same?
They're very different.
They're very different. So that one can go both directions too. Gosh, you know, I'd be a lot happier if I had more money, dates, and a better job. Very. It's reactive, okay? Oh, my children, they take all my time. Reactive. Doesn't our language influence our emotions many times? We can have a better day if we can speak to ourselves in a better way. As the leader of a classroom, do you need to be speaking in reactive language or proactive language? Proactive language. If you want them to try, if you want them to have a positive attitude, if you want them to be respectful in the classroom, you have to set the tone. You have to get rid of your reactive language. That is part of your classroom management plan. Having proactive language. So really, habit 1 is just full of wonderful, wonderful skills and necessary skills for leaders and teacher leaders. Pardon?
Is it too late for me to join?
Well, we'll get a chair in here, but you need to get signed in. I'm just going to kind of get you here because we're going to go to break here in a minute. On page 24, we have something called a circle of influence. Circle of influence versus circle of concern. How many of you worry about stuff? Yeah, it's common. It's a bad disease, isn't it? How many of you have things that you worry about that you can control? Sure. We control a lot of that. But how many of you have things you worry about that you can't control? Yeah. You just have to read the national news, don't you? That gets kind of frightening. Or the international news. Or the weather. Or the forest fires out west. Or there are lots of things that can stress us out. Some of them we have control over, and some of them, at least in our current positions, we can't do anything about. I'm not to say don't be educated about it. I'm not here to say, don't have feelings. That's not what this is. But what I am saying is focus your energy on what you can control. That's all this lesson is. Focus your energy on what you can control. It's like going to the gym. You're exercising your what I have control over muscles. You can control how much time you study. You can control your effort academically. You can control your behavior. You can control your attitude. So many things that you can control. And you focus there. And what happens when you focus on those muscles, just like going to the gym, they get stronger and they get bigger. Well, if the circle stays the same and your influence muscles get bigger, what happens to that circle of concern? It gets smaller. Excellent, Casey. It gets smaller. Your influence grows. And when that happens, people start to recognize that you're in a person who's in control of yourself, and you're getting things done. You're making wonderful golden eggs. And they respect you for that, and they invite you to be part of bigger decision-making groups that touch on bigger issues. Your influence grows, and things that used to be in your circle of concern are now in your circle of influence. Oh, is that how that works? That's how that works. I have a film that I want to show you about a person who had excellent potential, fabulous potential. The rug was pulled out from under him, and he had to pick up the pieces and regroup. And in that process, he had to use every proactive skill in his body. He had to learn to find his influence again, how to grow it, and you're going to see some amazing, amazing results. Now, I need to know, for those in the back, can you see the screen well at all? Because I'm worried about maybe having to pull those blinds to block some light. Are you good with this? If you can't see, give me a sign, okay? Because I don't want this to be a problem. His name is Stone. He's real. I have met him.
My home country, Uganda, is a very beautiful country. I like the people, I like the weather. It's very, very wonderful. Football in this country, you know, the moment you start moving, then the first thing to kick is a ball. I've tried all my life to make sure that I play professional football. That was my dream. I really worked for it. We are starting training, let's say by 10 a.m., but at around 8 a.m., you found Stone on the beach. You said, I want to practice to become perfect. Then, when I was 18, I started playing professional. They invited me for the national team. And then, just in a fraction of a second, my dream was shattered. A defender came from behind and tackled him. He just trapped my leg and turned it around. They took me on the side. The doctors told me I needed to go for operation. I knew it was over. You strive to climb the ladder, and the ladder has been broken. It's very painful. That night, even sleep could not come. And in the morning still, I was still crying. I had worked for this thing for so long. And now this man comes from behind and hit me. Inside me, there was some bitterness in me.
In Uganda, we come from a culture where revenge is accepted.
It would have been acceptable or expected of him to do something against the person who hurt him.
It was not easy. Inside me, of course, definitely, I felt so bad. I remember my mother telling me, if anything happens, learn to forgive and forget, because you cannot change it. I said, I have to forget that past, and I forgive him. Now we're trying to think, now what can I do next?
In Uganda, we have many challenges caused by corruption and caused by all these wars that we've had, and that has resulted in many kids being onto the streets.
They do not have parents, or because of poverty in their homes, they may not be able to continue with school, and yet they are not able to find work.
When I got injured, I opened my eyes wider. I saw the boys just loitering around. Then I said, what can I give? The idea came to me now. I think I can still be in football, but in another way.
When I first met Coach Son, I was staying on the street. When you are a street kid, you sleep outside. You can't get access to food, to school. You are just on your own.
Abamu be nali mbeera nabo baafa ebiseera eby'entalo ebyaliwo kale ne mbeera nga mu mbeera gye ndimu nga mbeera n'emikwano gyange bwe tutyo waawo. There's so much thieves, they take drugs. I was just there doing bad things like that.
People saw them as thieves, pickpocketers, people who would not amount to much, but coach would see something in them.
When we started, boys just came, and the number started increasing because their friends used to tell them. Now we have more than 5 teams playing the league. We train every day, and whether it rains or shines, we have to play. Because if you let them go, then you are sending them away to trouble.
He opened up a clubhouse whereby some people who did not have a place to stay could come and stay in there.
This clubhouse helps a lot. It acts as a home for the boys. While we're here, we can influence them positively so that they can become the people we want them to be. The goal is to have football as a magnet, bring them in, and then teach them principles. The most important principles I want to teach the boys are love and forgiveness. Forgiveness will help you reach your potential.
Coach's message of forgiveness, for me personally, helped me to get rid of the many hurts and the many things that were weighed on my heart.
In Africa, some wars come around which are uncalled for, just because maybe one tribe never forgave another. And now you see that they have the power and freedom to choose their response.
Stone lives in the middle of a slum. He chose to live there because the kids that he wants to inspire are right there.
That gives him a platform to talk to them because they feel like as their neighbor, he understands the challenges they are facing.
Ate coach yatuyigiriza bintu bingi ozayo kugeza kulaga muntu nga balina okuba ng'asuubula.
Bwe twalinga nga tuli mu kisaawe naye nga tulinga abali awaka era kyenkana twalinga waka ng'atusomesa embeera gye tulina okweyisaamu so si awo mu kisaawe wokka.
We have had 5 players join the national team and some play professional football. But that doesn't matter so much because the most important thing and goal is for them to become good men, good husbands, and good fathers.
I worked hard to be as you see me here. If I didn't meet Stone, would have been like this. I think I wouldn't be with my family.
I don't want this thing to die when I leave. I want the thing to continue. I want people to continue influencing others and let the message spread. Every I look at him as my son. It doesn't matter whether he's on the street, or he's in prison, or he's in a home, or he's on a football ground. It's my responsibility.
What'd you think about Stone? Tell me how you saw him being proactive. Yes.
He didn't let his circumstance keep him down. Even though he got hurt or whatever, he forgave the guy who killed him.
Yes. And although you don't know the whole story, but the injury from the other player was intentional. So yes, he was able to work above his circumstances. Excellent. Anything else you saw? Yes.
He probably had a case of depression or something like that and was able to work through that as well.
Absolutely, he did. The symptoms he talked about were classic, yes.
He kept the players out there rain or shine because he knew otherwise they'd be out doing bad things.
Mm-hmm.
So before they could do bad things, he said, come here anytime.
Yes, yes. So he's working with their best interest in mind, absolutely. What else?
He gave them a home.
He did. It's not just about soccer, is it? What else did you see?
He taught them principles.
Yeah. Anybody want to name one or two of those principles?
Forgiveness.
Good. And?
Love.
Love. So let's come back to circle of influence. Once he got past his depression, his skill set was in what?
Soccer.
Yes, soccer, athletics. That's what he knew. That was where his circle of influence was. But drawing on his mother's guidance, because it certainly wasn't the culture that he lived in, was it? Drawing on that, continuing to work that muscle as an athlete and knowing what he needed to be successful, he was able to grow that muscle, grow his influence, develop this program from soccer to a program that taught principles of love and forgiveness, provided homes, and a place of respect for these young people. That's huge. His job today, he still has the program that he began, but his job, his country has recognized his ability and his skill, and he coaches others in others' communities in Uganda to create youth programs and how to develop the program that he developed. That's very exciting, isn't it?